Hey everyone, how you guys doing today? So today we're actually doing something a little bit different, a little bit more on the bold side. I'm gonna try and make some steak tartare. I know Sarah's a little bit nervous about it, but I think it's gonna be pretty good. I've checked out, different recipes. I had this about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, and surprisingly, it was very delicious. And if you don't know what steak tartare is, basically it's raw beef cut into cubes, almost minced. And then we're gonna add certain things into it that we're actually gonna get to right now. So, to start off with, the first thing we're actually gonna do, we're gonna add some stone ground mustard. You can use Dijon if you like as well, but I like the stone ground for whatever I do, simply because it's simple ingredients. So we just put about a teaspoon in there. With that, before I was prepping, I have a small shallot that I minced. Some gherkins, which we don't know what gherkins are. They're like little pickles. They're sweet. Capers, which look like little peas. They've been brined, sour, and some homegrown parsley. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna mix this all together, and then we will get to the beef. So let's go ahead and knock this all in there. And all this stuff pretty much, it took me about 5 minutes to kind of chop everything up together. And I actually have the beef in the freezer, just so it can kind of stiffen up a little bit, be a little bit easier for me to cut it when we get it out of there. So all this is mixing up. That looks really good as it is. And then you'll see how this incorporates with our beef in a few minutes. Okay. All right, everyone. We went ahead and got the beef tenderloin. Actually, I just bought one piece, and you're gonna see what we're gonna do. We're gonna kind of trim it up a little bit. Then we're gonna cut it into small cubes. Kind of mince it up as much as we can with our knife. Toss it in with our little seasoning mixture that we made earlier. Add some salt and black pepper. Here we go. As you can see here, there's a little bit of, I can really call that gristle, It's gonna be inedible. So we wanna kind of cut that off, set that aside. Let's kind of give you an idea of what we're gonna be doing is that we're gonna try and chop this up into chunks. I'll try and get this kind of small as we can get it, all right? And if you want to, you can always do this, you know what I mean? Kind of, you can chop it up a little bit smaller, into smaller pieces, but you want to try and get this as small as you can. All right, this wasn't the most, how do I say this, uniform piece of meat that I bought. So instead of just doing like a normal, strips and then chop it up, I'm gonna try and do the best that we can do with what we got. Which is fine, right? That's the fun in cooking, everyone, is that, of course, you have these chefs that have their Food Network show, their YouTube channels. Everything for them usually looks perfect. In the real world, not so much, unless you're, spending a lot of money into everything that you're putting into. It's probably not gonna look exactly the same, but we can always work with what we got to make it the best, right? And to me, that's always a fun part of cooking. It's that you do have freedom to do what you want to do. Alrighty. So this here was a pretty nice piece, but I'm gonna just kind of trim it from there. Get some nice strips. And I had this in the freezer for about 10 minutes to kind of firm up. As I'm doing this, maybe I should have left it a little bit longer in the freezer, just because it would have been a little bit easier to cut. But it's not too bad. I mean, it is, beef tenderloin, AKA filet mignon. But, we're trying to do our best. Cut it as small as we can. Push all the pieces through. If you had a meat grinder, you would kind of put this on one of the largest settings and just kind of grind it out. But I kind of like cutting meat. It's fun. As long as you don't cut your own fingers. All right, so we're getting there. It's really nice red pieces of meat. Alrighty. So I just like to just take the knife and just kind of go through there just to see if we can't cut it down a little bit more. Again, with this piece, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna kind of cut it from here. Try to make it as uniform as possible. Makes it a little bit easier. And this piece of meat actually wasn't very expensive at all. In terms of, compared to when you go to a restaurant to purchase it. And I think everything that we've kind of put together today to create this would be less than 15 bucks. All the ingredients, when all is said and done. Not bad. If you go to like a fancy restaurant to order this, you're paying at least, $25. And maybe not as much meat as we got here. This was a good 8-ounce piece of tenderloin. And it's tenderloin, it's not rump roast, which a lot of places, that's what they use. They'll give you it out of rump roast, the cheapest kind of meat that they can get, because by the time they've done everything, you really can't tell the difference. Okay, so we'll just keep going here. Let's try and cut this down as much as possible without cutting ourselves. Awesome, so I'm just take a quick peek. Some of these pieces a little bit bigger. Cut them down to small pieces. This little guy here. This is actually smelling really good. That's going in there. And now from some of these other pieces, we're just gonna try and cut around the fat a little bit. Oops. Just try and cut around the sinew. Maybe that's what it's called. So we can, as much good meat as possible. That sinew I'll probably give to the dogs, which is perfectly fine. They love it. It's good for them. Especially with us right now. We have 8 puppies in the house. We love dogs here. We love cows too, but for different reasons. Nice, okay. All right, so last thing we gotta do, add a little salt, a little black pepper, then we'll put it in the fridge for a few minutes, then we'll pull it out, add in an egg yolk, and we'll try this thing out, all right? So we're gonna add some nice sea salt, coarse sea salt, which, hold on a second here. There you go. That's a nice amount. Some fresh black pepper, which I like to add a lot to anything that I'm cooking. All right, and what we're gonna do, we're just kind of mix this all together here. And then when you order this at a restaurant, what they'll do is they'll kind of mix this all up together, and they'll just kind of pat it down, make a little ball out of it, or something that looks almost like hamburger when they bring it out to you. So that's actually kind of good to go. But we're gonna go ahead and let it kind of settle for a few minutes, and then we'll bring it out and give it a shot. Here we go. All right, guys, we're back. We're actually almost the end of our journey here with the steak tartare. Last thing we gotta add is an egg yolk. We're gonna go ahead and do that right now. This has been chilling in the fridge, just to let you know, for about 10 minutes or so. Kind of letting everything kind of gel together. Traditionally with steak tartare, the last thing you always add is the egg yolk. You can do this with a chicken, duck, quail egg. I heard it's actually very good with this. I've only had it with chicken egg the time I tried it. So, let's go ahead and make sure everything's nice and mixed up. All right, I'm gonna give this a shot. All right, so we got some crackers. These are some of my favorite biscuits though. These are called chicken biscuits. You use them for like a chicken dip. Put some on there. Oh, it's so good. If you would have asked me, you know, a couple of months ago, would I like something like this? I'd probably say no. But one thing we've learned in life, never judge a book by its cover. Take it easy, guys.